So what are we going to do about energy as we move forward? Only a little less than 1% of our electricity in this country comes from oil. A fair amount comes from coal and nuclear. Solar and wind are growing. We have 5 states now where more than 20% of the power in those states, including Texas, comes from wind and solar. But there are still those folks out there pitching nukes. Dr. Robert Zubrin is one, contributing editor to the New Atlantis, thenewatlantis.com, founder and president of the Mars Society, the author of his latest book, Merchants of Despair, Radical Environmentalists, Criminal Pseudoscientists, and the Fatal Cult of Anti-Humanism. Robert Zubrin, welcome to the program.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks for joining us. I don't understand how anybody who claims to be a conservative can support nuclear power when nuclear power plants only exist by virtue of government welfare.
I don't claim to be conservative. I'm politically independent.
Okay. I don't understand how anybody who claims to be rational can support nuclear power when nuclear power plants only exist by virtue of government welfare.
Well, I disagree. We developed hydroelectric plants in this country under the Roosevelt administration, and progressive people all supported it. Woody Guthrie, roll on, Columbia, your power is turning our darkness to dawn.
I don't recall, toxic waste coming out of the Bonneville Dam. I used to live near there.
After hydroelectric power, nuclear power is the cleanest power we've got.
Really?
Sure. Much cleaner than
all
coal.
those people who live near the mines who are exposed to the tailings, all that water that's contaminated by the tailings, uranium tailings, all of that nuclear waste, that's just peachy keen stuff. We should, put it in our food?
I'm really surprised to hear you say all this, given the Obama administration has just pretty much banned new coal-fired power plants in this country. We've got to have power.
I'm not a fan of coal power plants either. Germany is doing really well with solar. Denmark's doing really well with wind. We're doing well. Texas is 20% of their power is coming from wind in Texas right now.
Okay. Well, let me just say this. Okay. I believe that people that we have to place human welfare at the center of our value system. And that means particularly the welfare of the poor.
So why would we create waste byproducts that are deadly for 1,000,000 years?
No American has ever died of nuclear waste. But let me finish this.
Oh, come on.
Okay, expensive energy is a regressive tax. It's a tax on Americans, and it's extremely regressive tax on the world's poor. High oil prices is a regressive tax.
So let's give people solar panels for their homes.
Solar panels are among the most expensive forms of energy that
they're not. The price of solar panels has dropped in half twice in the last 10 years. Germany now has they started out to replicate one nuclear power plant, 1 gigawatt of electricity, and they now have 10. They had to stop their program. It wasn't even a subsidy. It didn't cost the government a penny. But they had to stop this program of basically banks backstopping bank loans to homeowners to put solar panels on their roofs, and because there's too much. They've committed 8% of their GDP to upgrade their grid system because they got all this electricity coming into it, and it's an old-fashioned grid. It can't handle it. Why don't we do something smart like that rather than a centralized power plant like a nuclear power plant? Makes no sense.
Well, the basic question is, are we going to have policies in this country that create artificial shortages so that people can, say there isn't enough to go around, so human aspirations need to be constrained?
How can you have an artificial shortage if you've got solar collectors on your roof?
That create abundance. And that's the essence of the issue here. That's the essence of the issue with nuclear power, with the genetically modified crops. It's the essence of the issue with all these new technologies. It used to be the progressives in this country supported technological progress, and now they've been sold a bill of goods to want to support policies of technological reaction.
Let me just get this right.
Keep prices
maybe I'm misunderstanding you.
Harm the world's poor.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding you. We're talking to Dr. Robert Zubrin. Maybe I'm misunderstanding you. In India, where they are going into poor villages and they're putting solar panels on the roofs of huts that have never had electricity so that people can use cell phones and access the internet and have little cook stoves and lights at night. And it's basically free. I mean, once they've got the solar panel, they've got free electricity for the 50-year lifespan of the solar panel. And in Germany, people do that on their homes. You've got 15, 20% of the homes in Germany now are producing as much electricity as they consume. And many are producing a significant surplus. You're saying that that kind of local, independent energy self-sufficiency is a bad thing, and having a for-profit corporation run a nuclear power plant that is subsidized by the federal government, that Wall Street, Goldman Sachs will not do an IPO for nuclear power plant. Won't do it. Has to be subsidized by the federal government, is a good thing. Do I have this right?
No.
Okay, what am I missing?
You're missing is that I have no objection to people putting solar powers on their roofs.
If we're going to do an $11 billion subsidy to the nuclear power industry, why not do the same for solar panels then?
No, the nuclear power has been so hamstrung by overregulation that has vastly increased its cost.
Oh, we should deregulate them. That worked really well with the banks. When they blew up, nobody got radioactive. I mean, you want it like Fukushima, TEPCO was not reporting to the government. They were ignoring the regulations. That's what we should do with our nuclear industry?
People in Fukushima were killed by tidal waves and falling buildings. Not one person has been killed by a nuclear power plant.
Nonsense.
No, it's not nonsense. It's a fact.
People have died all over this world from nuclear power plants, and you know it. There is no such thing as a safe dose of radiation. There's pretty much everybody you can find radioactive cesium in it's all over the United States from Fukushima, if nothing else. John Wayne died
of radiation. John Wayne died from Fukushima.
John Wayne died from being downwind of he and everybody else who was on that movie that he was making. They all died because a couple hundred miles upwind, they did an above-ground nuclear test. And you don't have nuclear bombs if you don't have a nuclear power industry.
No, that's not true. We had thousands of nuclear bombs before we had our first commercial.
You're right of the United States, but not of any other country in the world. Every other country in the world has used a domestic nuclear power industry to generate the concentrated uranium for their bombs.
That's untrue. That's factually untrue. You can't use the nuclear power. The waste from nuclear power plants does not make good bomb-grade material, and I know something about this.
Well, the processing, the process of amplifying, of centrifuging out, and I'm missing the word for it, but of increasing the potency of the uranium, of raising, what is it, U-235 and decreasing U-233 or 234. That process is the same process. You take it up to 3% for a nuclear power plant, you take it up to 90% for a bomb. It's the same process. So you build that stuff for your nuclear power industry, and then you use it for your bomb industry.
Without a bomb, okay, that's a fact of the matter. Okay, yes, you can. Enrichment technology can be used to make fuel for reactors or for
India
bombs.
made the bomb
I actually recommend taking bomb-grade
program.
Material and degrading it to reactor-grade material. And
Pakistan made the bomb out of their program. But you still haven't answered my question. Why would any rational person support an industry that could not exist if it wasn't for government welfare?
Because after hydroelectric power, it's the cleanest source of large-scale power we've got.
So solar power is not clean?
I'm just, well, actually, the chemical processes involved in making solar power plants are not completely clean, no. But also
the chemical processes involved in purifying uranium are?
Yeah. But listen, let me ask you something, okay? Because I'm actually a little surprised that you focused on nuclear power, because the main thrust of the book is this whole issue of whether we go with a pro-growth world outlook or a zero-growth world outlook. And I know that you've been an advocate of population control in the past. And
I have not.
You haven't? Because I thought I saw an interview
I'm
online.
an advocate of empowering women, which causes them to have family sizes that they want, which typically are about, more or less around 2. So stabilizing.
Then you agree with me that these programs that force sterilization on women in the third world are completely wrong.
They don't work.
Well, they don't work. They're also wrong.
Yeah, they're morally wrong and they don't work. But that's not the point.
The book has a major expose of that.
Okay.
The book has
Dr. Robert Zubrin, we're out of time.